The disease of people isn't failure, it's success. What do I mean by this? We all know someone who started a diet. It was working great. They lost all this weight, the pounds, the kilograms was just shedding off them. They were getting compliments. They were feeling good. They were looking good. Their clothes were fitting better. They were living a better life. And what happens? It wasn't failure. It was the success. They changed from a winning action, right? Whatever they were doing to lose all the weight, to a different action, right? They moved on to something else, started maybe eating a different diet, not working out as much, changing their routines, doing different things. And what happens? They revert back to where they were, where they started, right? Before their success. And I see this in entrepreneurship a lot. How often does it happen? And maybe you can relate to this, maybe you can't, where businesses or people, they take a winning action, they make an Instagram post that goes viral, or they launch a product that works really well, and then all of a sudden they're like, I need to do other things, right? And they focus and switch their attention instead of focusing on one thing. And the reason that I started thinking about this was yesterday I was at a party, and before the party there was like a mastermind talk for some entrepreneurs. And I was invited to talk and get on stage about an hour before, and I obviously had nothing prepared. And I was a little bit nervous getting up on stage with nothing prepared, nothing ready to go. And later on at the party, and I ended up giving that speech. It was just a short speech. I opened up my laptop quickly before the presentation, put something together with some slides and got it ready. And I got a lot of compliments afterwards. People were coming up to me. Some people said it was I heard multiple people say it was the best speech of the day. It was a Tai Lopez event. One person said your speech was the best besides for Tais. People were saying your speech was the most memorable. I learned the most. It was the most actionable. And this is me putting together a presentation without much energy, thought, practice, refinement. Practice is obviously a very important thing when it comes to public speaking. Later on at the party, while all this is happening, people are coming, people are coming up to me telling me how much they like the speech. I was chatting with one of our clients who has a really big business. He's doing very well with ads. He's got Facebook ads, YouTube ads, Instagram ads. He's kind of all over the place with ads, and he's built kind of a big brand. He's got a very successful business. A young guy, I think he's about 29, 30 years old, living a great life, right? Very inspirational, amazing person. And we were talking about YouTube, and there was someone at the party who's been on another video of mine, Frank Ponce. He was the head producer at Mr. Beast. He's produced some of the most viral videos in the world. Pretty much guarantee that if you're watching this on YouTube, you've probably seen one of his other YouTube videos, either through Mr. Beast or anyone else he's worked with. And he was giving advice on how to launch a YouTube channel, right? He was telling my friend and our client what he needs to do. And the third piece of advice he gave was to just be consistent, right? Just keep uploading, keep doing it. And it got me thinking about the Bruce Lee quote, I don't fear the man who practices 1,000 kicks one time. So I don't fear the man who practices 1,000 different kicks one time. I fear the man who practices one kick 1,000 times. Think about what Bruce Lee is saying there. He is emphasizing the importance of practicing one thing over and over again instead of doing what is the disease of entrepreneurs, which is practice one thing and then practice another thing, and before you know it, you've done 1,000 different things and you're ignoring your success, right? The disease of people is success, not failure. Then they're not focusing on doubling down on and repeating the winning actions that got them the success that they wanted. And so what we did at the party, we just whipped out the phone. I don't fear the man who practices 1,000 kicks one time. I fear the man who practices one kick 1,000 times. We just pulled out the phone and just started talking, and just put out a little YouTube video, probably not the best audio, not the best lighting, definitely not the best well thought out content. But again, we're just getting that set and that rep. which is what Arnold Schwarzenegger talks about. He talks about, and Arnold Schwarzenegger's probably, you know, in terms of people on this planet, he's got to be in the top 10, maybe the top 100, definitely the top 1% of people who've lived an amazing, high quality life. Not just in one area, right? Not just in making money, for example, which is very often how people quantify success, but in all areas of his life, right? Health, wealth, love, and happiness. Every dream, every goal he's set out to do from a young age, he has grown up and achieved, right? So for example, bodybuilding. I don't know which competitions he was winning, but when he was a kid, he'd have pictures of Joe Weider and other bodybuilders on his wall, right? At one point, his parents thought he was gay because he had all these, you know, half-naked men that are in great shape on his wall. And he said one day, he was living in Austria, he grew up in Austria in a small town, he said one day, he had Reg Park on his wall, that was a mentor of his. He said, I'm gonna do what Reg Park did, I'm gonna move to America and I'm gonna win Mr. Olympia. And of course, a kid coming from a small town in Austria, this is an almost impossible dream, an almost impossible goal. And what happens? He makes it happen, right? He goes to the gym, he works out, and he follows a principle that he learned very early on, which he talks about, which is sets. This is a quote from Arnold. It's all sets and reps. What does that mean? Sets and reps is a gym term. You may be familiar, but a set is essentially one action, right? Doing one thing. I don't fear the man who practices 1,000 kicks at one time. I fear the man who practices one kick 1,000 times. So it's all sets and reps. I got this the other way around. As you can see, I'm not super into gym at the moment. A rep is one motion, one movement, and a set is doing it over and over again. So you might do 10 reps and then 3 sets of it. So you do it 3 times by 10 reps. So you've got 30 movements all together. He realized this early on, it's all sets and reps. So he puts in his sets and he puts in his reps, and what happens? Eventually he becomes Mr. Olympia. I think he won it 7 times in his life in total, which is pretty cool. But he doesn't stop there. He says, I want to make money. Well, not many people know this, but he was actually a millionaire before he won Mr. Olympia. He was doing mail order gym businesses. Him and his friend, I think his name is Frank Colombo, they were building houses. They were doing all sorts of things to make money. He actually ended up buying an apartment. He made money in real estate early on. He bought an apartment complex with 4 apartments in it. He was living in one of them, and the rent that he was collecting from the other 3 was paying for his living expenses, right? Pretty damn badass and pretty cool. And then, of course, the next thing he says, I want to get into movies. I want to be a movie star and be the highest paid movie star. Guess what? He goes out there and he does it. Despite everyone saying he cannot do it, he's got a weird accent, etc., etc. But what does he do? He studies the greats. He trains, he practices, he does his sets and he does his reps until, guess what? He's not only good enough to be in a movie, but he's selecting the roles he wants to do, and he's the highest paid actor in Hollywood at one stage, right? Pretty incredible. But it doesn't stop there. He then says, I want to get into politics. And he wants to become the governor of California. Well, again, here's a guy who grew up with English not as his first language, right? So he's learned English, he's become a movie star, he's become a famous bodybuilder, helping gyms go all around the world, become popular and famous, so people started working out. Now he wants to get into politics, and with no background, no history. And I was reading his book recently, his new one, it's called Be Useful. Be Useful is the name of his new book. I recommend it. It's fairly basic, but it's got some pretty cool stuff in there. And what does he do? Or what does he say? He says in that book, he practiced his lines over and over and over again when he wanted to get into politics. So he knew what he wasn't getting on stage making it up. He was doing his sets and reps. He was doing his one kick 1,000 times with his lines that he was going to say. Even the jokes, even the way he made the audience laugh, that was all scripted, and he practiced it over and over again to the mirror, to himself, to other people for when he was ready on stage and the reporter asked him a question, he has a line ready to go that's funny, that's humorous, that captures the audience's attention, and he's sharp, switched on, and seems like an amazing, incredible politician. All sets and reps. It's a pretty incredible story from Arnold Schwarzenegger and Bruce Lee. Now there's one more, and there's countless of these examples, but I want to give you something that's been going viral on social media recently. Given the Olympics are now on, the France Olympics just happened, but the Tokyo Olympics, there's a clip that's gone viral. It's called The Greatest Save of All Time. And it's a gymnast on a balancing beam. You may have seen this. She does all her flips and twirls and whatever. And just as she lands her final move, you can see she loses her balance, right? And she's about to fall off. And what does she do? She's about to fall off, and then you can probably imagine this clip. If you've seen it, you might have. She then jumps and lands on her hands, does a handstand on the balancing beam, and then recovers. So instead of falling, she was able to use her momentum to go into another trick. And guess what happened? She ended up winning the gold medal in the Tokyo Olympics for this balance beam sport. If it's a gym, I don't know if I don't think it's gymnastics, but it's some version of gymnastics. It's balance beam. Who knows what it's called? But my point is, pretty incredible. She won gold, and the way she was able to do that is by mastering a skill, right? And the skill she was mastering is this balance beam sport. And she was so good at it. She had done it so many times. She had practiced the one kick 1,000 times. She had put in her sets and reps that even when she was falling off, she was able to turn that into a winning move that helped her win the gold medal in the Tokyo Olympics. So that is pretty incredible. So to conclude this video, while we were talking at the party, I kind of realized I wanted to get better at public speaking, and I started doing YouTube videos at the beginning of the year, right? I had a 67-day challenge to create one video a day for 67 days, right? I don't fear the man that's created 1,000 videos one time. I fear the man that's practiced one video 1,000 times. So I was creating a video daily for 67 days, and I got feedback from my friends that my public speaking and videos had improved. And I also got feedback from the audience at this event where people came up to me saying it was a great speech. And it made me think of the disease of people, which isn't failure, it's success, right? I had taken a successful action by posting on YouTube frequently and consistently, and it's not about the YouTube channel. You'll see this video has no edits because I'm not putting in the effort to grow the channel. I'm putting in the effort to practice one kick 1,000 times, which is talking to the camera, becoming a better speaker. And I realized I had stopped the winning action, the successful action, and gone into, doing other things which may be failures for public speaking, right? Not practicing is obviously a failure for public speaking, right? The disease of people, as I open this video with, isn't failure, it's success. So my message to you is, whenever you find something that's working in your life, whether it's something that's lighting up your relationship, whether it's something that's helping you get in shape or grow muscles in the gym, whether it's something that helps you make money, right? How many people have a high-paying job, even if they're not liking it, they quit and they take a big risk to go do something else? Why are people so extreme? Why can't they keep their job and transition to something else over time? Whatever it is. Making money, how many people are doing a winning action and then they completely change? They change that winning action. What about happiness? How many people, have moments of happiness, and instead of doing those moments again, the things that made them happy, they go on and do other things, right? Health, wealth, love, and happiness. Look at all those areas of your life and don't fall into the disease. Don't catch the disease of humans, of people, which is not failure, it's success. Hit subscribe. That's a successful action you can take right now.